At exactly 04:17 in international waters, the USS Porter tracked 4 Russian warships closing from multiple bearings. No radio contact, no identification, just 4 surface combatants converging on a single American destroyer from 26 nautical miles out. The Russians believed they were executing a textbook surface encirclement. They were unaware they were broadcasting their intentions to the most integrated naval combat system ever deployed at sea. The Porter is an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. 509 feet of American engineering designed around one philosophy: control the information, control the engagement. Her AN Spy 1D radar tracks over 1,000 targets simultaneously. Her Combat Information Center processes tactical data faster than the entire Russian formation combined. The Russians were about to discover what that advantage actually means. First contact appeared on radar at 04:12. 2 Udaloy-class destroyers approaching from the northeast. Within 90 seconds, 2 more contacts emerged. Admiral Grigorovich-class frigates. 4 ships, 4 different approach vectors. A classic pincer movement converging on a single American destroyer operating alone. Inside the Porter's Combat Information Center, the atmosphere shifted instantly. Blue screens illuminated tactical displays showing 4 red contacts moving inward. A petty officer tagged each contact. Russian Navy. Surface combatants. The tactical action officer calculated the closest point of approach, 16 nautical miles in 40 minutes if nobody changed heading. Close enough to test American resolve. On the bridge, the watch officer studied the tactical picture. The 4 ships were forming a loose box around the Porter. This was not random. These were not patrol routes crossing by coincidence. This was deliberate coordination designed to pressure a lone American warship into altering course. It is the classic gray zone tactic Russia practices in the Baltic and China employs in the South China Sea. Fly aggressive, sail aggressive, claim lawful transit, hope the other side blinks first. At 04:29, the Russian formation tightened. All 4 ships adjusted course inward. The new intercept point, 12 nautical miles. The 2 destroyers maintained formation spacing, creating a northern barrier, while the frigates positioned themselves to cut across the Porter's projected track. They were 4 moving pieces of a chessboard, closing methodically toward one American square. The Porter's commanding officer arrived in sick within 3 minutes. He saw a textbook surface tactic from an adversary still teaching Soviet-era doctrine. The Northern Udaloy was an 8,000-ton relic, powered by gas turbines and overdue for an overhaul. It was armed with weapons from the 1970s, capable against submarines, but marginally effective against a destroyer operating 3 generations ahead. The tactical picture told a different story than Russian planners intended. Their destroyers were operating with radar systems that qualified for museum displays. Their frigates carried modern caliber cruise missiles, but required external targeting for maritime strikes. Crucially, there was no unified combat system linking them together. Each Russian vessel operated on independent sensors and independent command structures. The Porter, by comparison, operated as a single integrated node within a network stretching from satellites overhead to submarine patrol zones 300 miles away. Her Aegis combat system didn't just track the ships, it monitored their emissions, classified their fire control systems, and analyzed their electronic signatures. Every radar pulse they transmitted became intelligence. Every course change revealed doctrine. The Russians thought they were conducting coordinated intimidation. In reality, they were providing a real-time demonstration of their tactical playbook. It was like playing hide-and-seek with an opponent who owns thermal satellites. By 04:53, the range dropped to 15 nautical miles. Electronic warfare operators detected Russian fire control radars activating. They were searching, probing, broadcasting their positions like teenagers posting locations on social media. They were testing if the Porter would flinch. Would she alter course? Call for reinforcements? The Porter did none of these things. She maintained course and speed. She transmitted no tactical radio. Her radar tracked all 4 contacts with the steady precision usually reserved for commercial freighters. No heightened alert was visible to Russian observers. No defensive maneuvering. This studied indifference was a tactical communication in itself. You don't impress us. Your coordination doesn't intimidate us. At 05:21, the moment escalated. The Northern Udaloy adjusted course sharply toward the Porter, increasing speed to 25 knots. the range collapsed to just 4 nautical miles. This was inside the threshold requiring coordination and inside the range where collision avoidance becomes mandatory. On the Porter's bridge, there was no panic, just process. The captain reviewed engagement criteria. The rules were crystal clear. Maintain course. Monitor closely. Prepare response if the Russian vessel violates safe separation. 1.5 nautical miles was the line. Physics doesn't negotiate with aggressive intent. Cross it, and the Americans would react. The Udaloy maintained its approach. Russian tactics were textbook. Apply pressure. Create ambiguity. Force the Americans to choose between holding position or collision avoidance. They calculated a 97% probability of success. The remaining 3% was wishful thinking. The Porter's response came through demonstration, not escalation. At 05:32, the Porter launched her embarked MH-60R Seahawk helicopter. There was no aggressive positioning, just routine flight operations. The helicopter lifted from the deck and established a lazy orbit 6 miles from the destroyer, visible to every Russian warship. For the Russian radar operators, the screens lit up. That single helicopter carried sensors capable of tracking submarines at 40 nautical miles and torpedoes to engage surface targets if required. It carried the message that American naval aviation operates when it chooses, regardless of Russian pressure. The Seahawk's appearance changed the math instantly. The Russian captain understood that one American helicopter represented more anti-surface capability than his entire weapon suite. Its radar saw through his countermeasures. Its guidance systems didn't get confused. They got focused. And its data link connected to the Porter's combat system, creating an integrated kill chain he couldn't disrupt. At 05:41, the Udaloy turned away. The aggressive closing maneuver ended. The demonstration achieved its objective without a single radio warning or weapon activation. Just one helicopter orbiting lazily, representing capabilities the Russians couldn't match. The 3 remaining ships stopped tightening the range. The encirclement attempt stalled, not through maneuvering, but through the realization that pressing closer offered no tactical advantage. They came to demonstrate multi-ship coordination. They left having demonstrated their inability to influence American operations. At 06:07, the Russian formation broke contact. All 4 ships dispersed, returning to independent patrol tracks. Within 30 minutes, all contacts faded beyond the radar horizon. From the Russian perspective, it was mission accomplished, if the mission was burning fuel while achieving nothing. The Porter continued her original track unchanged, not 1 degree of course deviation, not 1 knot of speed adjustment. But the intelligence collection was substantial. Every radar emission was captured, every frequency logged. The Russians had revealed their coordination doctrine and equipment capabilities, information worth millions, provided free of charge by an adversary trying to look strong. The cost analysis speaks for itself. Russia deployed 4 warships, burning approximately $53,000 in fuel and operating costs for 40 minutes of intimidation. Expensive tuition for a lesson available for free on Wikipedia. They accomplished 0 strategic objectives and 0 political concessions. The Porter launched 1 helicopter. Flight operations cost approximately $1,100. That single sortie conveyed a stronger tactical message than 4 warships sailing in circles. When your helicopter represents more combat power than their formation, you don't need to maneuver. You just need to remind them you're there. Within 72 hours, Russian state media released edited video claiming their brave sailors pressured an American warship into withdrawing. The Porter's navigation logs told the true story. 0 course changes, 0 defensive maneuvers. The destroyer sailed a perfectly straight line, treating 4 Russian warships with the same concern most captains reserve for fishing trawlers. This is how modern deterrence operates when the cameras aren't watching. One side probes, the other demonstrates capability without escalation. Russia wanted to show they could coordinate multi-ship operations. Instead, they proved that coordinating 4 ships with independent systems accomplishes less than 1 destroyer with integrated networks. It was like bringing 4 knives to a gunfight where the opponent has night vision, knows you're coming, and has already verified your knife specifications. The international waters remained calm that morning. No missiles launched, no collisions recorded, just 4 ships sailing home with empty demonstrations, while 1 American destroyer continued patrol without breaking stride.